Yes, sir. My goodness. We are on, we are live. This is Mike at Night, and we've been waiting for this for so long. Yes, I thank you for all of those who have been standing by and who are locked on this evening. Boy, I tell you, we had a wonderful time last week when we launched, and we had on Dr. Faith B. Israel, and we dealt with vaccinations, and she broke down some stuff that made it so clear. I tell you, and we have another lady on tonight that is going to be talking in such simplicity, but yet so profound that you'll be able to understand things. And tonight's topic is infidelity, something that we don't like to talk about, something that we don't expect, but something that we have to brace yourself for. You see, it's like wearing your seatbelt. You don't expect to crash, but just in case, you have to be prepared. And that is what happens also with infidelity. Yep, there is comeback from every situation. We're going to hear so much tonight about it. We are so thankful for the people who have been sponsoring us, and we're so happy for them. You're going to hear the ad in just a while, but let me just give them a personal shout out. Den's Electronics, oh my goodness, yeah, one of the kind of family type business, and so we want to thank Den's Electronics for being part of the sponsorship. We want to thank Double B Supermarket. Yep, Double B Supermarket also is a family type supermarket. Yep, and I tell you that it seems as though people get into businesses in family format in Tobago. We also have Rapid Response Security Services, another family type program. Yes, and they also are our sponsors for this evening. We have Toes Cool Center. Toes, yeah, he makes sure during this dry season that's supposed to be dry but is often wet. Yep, he makes sure that you are cool, and so we're happy to have them. You're going to hear from them in a while. Yes, so let me tell you, we have a lineup for you for the entire month, and today we really happy to have them. So let's not waste time. I will introduce my guest when I come back from the break. You have yourself a wonderful evening. Enjoy this program.
In today's society, we need security that is trustworthy, reliable, and efficient. Rapid Response Security Services Limited is here to meet all your needs. Since 1990, this security company leads while others follow, with a commitment to provide satisfaction in service. We specialize in modern and professional security systems. Contact us at 639-3675 or 660-7418, or visit us at the Blue and White Building, Mount Mary, Scarborough, Tobago.
Don't let the weather of the day dictate your pace. I stayed cool every time I got into my vehicle, and you can too. At Tow School Center of 31 Gaskin Bay Road, Bonaccord, they specialize in auto air conditioning with parts and services catering to your car's needs. Call and ask for tows at 660-8777 or 788-3535. Tow School Center, where a comfortable ride is a cool ride.
Den's Electronics, first floor, Port Mall Shopping Center, corner Sangsers and Milford Road, Scarborough, Tobago. Telephone number 639-3497 or 345-0470. When it comes to electronics, check Den's Electronics and just say, I heard it on Mike at Night. If you don't believe me, you call them 639-5329. If you ask them any question, they'll tell you Jesus is the answer. We back. Yes, sir. We are back on track. Thank you very much. Let me tell you, we have quite a bit of giveaways. We gave away last week, and the person who went to get their giveaway from West Side was so happy with what they got. And I hear it have Valentine's coming up this weekend. I'm not a Valentine's person, I'll admit that. Oh yes, call me Scrooge if you like. But hey, I don't think I should honor my wife once a year. I think this should be an all year round thing, and no business is going to tell me just do it once. But hello, if you're going to buy a gift, buy the gift all year round. Yeah. So I want to tell you, we have some giveaways also, lunches and so on. If we have time to be able to do that, we will certainly. All right. So Miss Lisa David is a family crisis management specialist. We had to call her in because when it comes to infidelity, there's crisis. And so this is where it is up her alley to be able to guide us through and drift us through these murky waters as to this issue of infidelity. I want to say that there are a number of people hurting. There are a number of people who have been bruised and battered by the issue of infidelity. And so we can't ignore it. We've got to face it. And so we would encourage you to call us or to WhatsApp us. Any question that you have, you could do it anytime during the program. Just to WhatsApp us and I will read out your question, write your statement. If you're on Facebook, you could write it on Facebook, etc. We're going to try to find some solutions. The telephone number is going to be on the screen. You will see the telephone number going across the screen. It is 387-7553. You could WhatsApp your comment or your question, etc. 387-7553. Yes, the poll there is a poll question also that you will see crossing the screen, and that poll will ask you to respond to the poll. And coming to the end of the program, we'll tell you what the numbers are, the percentage of people who would have responded to the poll and what the answers happen to be. Welcome, Mrs. David. How are you doing? Yes.
I am fine.
Yes,
It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure.
Well, I know that I hope that this is not too late for you, because for some people, this is past their bedtime. Some of them, like Fowler, they go to bed quite early. Yes, but nice to have you on board. I think it is good for us to establish, first of all, what is the definition of infidelity. And the reason why I want to do that is because there are some people that have told me that actual sexual encounter with somebody who you're not in a relationship with is infidelity. And others say if you are emotionally flirting with somebody, it is infidelity. If you are engaged on WhatsApp and Facebook, etc., and you are doing things otherwise, that is infidelity. What's your definition?
All right. Well, to everyone who is on this program, once you have ever loved or once you are married, this program is for all of us.
That's right.
Infidelity existed since marriage was invented, but it is a taboo, right? It is not discussed, especially in the church, because men boast about infidelity, but women hide.
Men boast, but women hide?
Yes, about infidelity, right?
Wow. Okay.
So to give you a definition for infidelity, I know that is quite a controversial statement, but it is a fact. To give you a definition for infidelity is a sexual relationship or emotional connection or a sexual contact. It also includes sexing and watching pornography. Because if we look at what the Bible says about adultery and infidelity, if you do the act or even think about the act, you have committed the act. Okay, basically. So that's the definition for it, basically. But this one act of transgression can rob you. It can rob you of your relationship, it can rob you of your happiness, and it can rob you of your identity. Right, basically. So that's basically the definition. So do you want me to go through the reasons for...
Well, we'll get there. Because you spoke about godliness, Christianity, etc.
Yes.
There's an angle that some people would have said that godly people would never be unfaithful, and if they are, they were never godly. What's your feeling?
That is totally untrue, because we are all human beings and we can fail. We can all become weak at sometimes because the devil is busy. So this can happen to anyone, godly people. The devil have tempted Jesus Christ twice, so who is us? It can tempt any one of us. We are all human beings, even though we are Christians.
Yeah. Well, you know, it reminds me, King David was a man of God, and still he was in infidelity, and yet God labeled him as a man after his own heart.
That's correct.
Yes, yes. All right. So what drives this thing that seems to be so prevalent of being unfaithful?
There are many things that contribute towards infidelity. Now, we are not justifying that it is correct, right or wrong.
Right.
Right? As far as we're concerned, clearly it is wrong. Okay. But there are many, many reasons for
So these are reasons, but not justifications.
Not justifications. There are many reasons that people give for infidelity, and I have
I have my pen. I have my pen.
Right, good.
I'm in school now.
Personality disorder and childhood issues.
Personality disorder
and childhood issues.
And those are two different ones or one?
Well, risk factors. Those are risk factors that we looked at. Yes.
Okay. Yes.
So these personality disorders, you can look at people who have been raped and they develop personality disorder. They may not be a rapist, but when they get into a relationship or a marriage, they tend to want to engage in sexual activities, right? Mm-hmm. We also have frustration in marriage.
Yes.
Right? This is a common trigger, right? Where the cheater may feel several attempts to cheat because of all sorts of reasons. They feel that they are giving too much to the relationship and the other person is not giving. They feel that they are being, how shall I say, harassed. They go through form of jealousy, all sorts of things. Then they may have childhood baggage of neglect, abuse, parental cheating. They may have seen it in a relationship before with their mother, their father, right? They adopt the same thing, generational curse. And sometimes it could be a cry for help or exit strategy. They may not want the relationship, so they want to get out of the relationship. So they find somebody else, right? So, but there are many, many, many reasons. The Mayo Clinic indicated that there are plenty reasons, and we look at lack of affection, loss of fondness and caring for each other, imbalance of giving and taking in a relationship, breakdown of communication, which is a valid one, physical health illnesses, such as chronic pain and disability on behalf of the actual victim or, the perpetrator himself. We have mental issues, as I mentioned before. Issues. Addiction. We have unaddressed marital issues, and this is a significant problem. Lifestyle changes, such as transition to parenthood. You may hear in relationships where a child comes into the relationship and the mother starts to give attention to the child, or the father starts to give the attention to the child, one feel neglected. Right? And you have stressful period. For example, if you're going through a loss of job, you feel that the partner is not giving you enough attention. Somebody else might be giving you attention, and eventually you just fall into it. So there are some of the reasons why that people find themselves.
You just gave a trailer load of reasons right there.
Yeah, there are many, many reasons. And anyone can find a reason to justify their actions.
What about just plain slack? I didn't hear that one.
Completely agree. What about just plain, they just idle? They just find themselves having vice.
Yes,
there are
yes.
Many reasons.
As my mother would say, just plain whorish.
Yes.
Okay.
You can justify anything that you want to get into.
Right. So having heard this list of things that create this thing, is there a way I want to go to the impact of it, but I want to know. Probably I should wait and deal with the way to avoid it and evade it. Let's talk about the impact of whenever somebody gets into a relationship and the relationship is now in a state of flux and instability and so on. What happens to both the perpetrator and the person who is, well, let's, for want of a better word, the victim of this infidelity?
Infidelity generally undermines your relationship. It brings along a lot of impact for both the victim, the perpetrator, and the children, right? So with respect, it can eventually end the relationship, or through forgiveness and counseling, it can strengthen the relationship. But that depends on whether the victim and the perpetrator agrees. But there are some significant impact into this from infidelity. Damage to self-esteem, right? You can feel that, listen to me, was I not good enough? Did I do something wrong? Am I to blame? Or no, is he to blame? No. Or is the woman to blame? So you go through a lot of self-esteem issues, right? Then you have loss of trust. And that is a significant thing in a marriage. When you lose trust, you lose almost everything, right? It is important to deal with your trust issue. If you do not deal with your trust issue, that relationship will go south, as my daughter would say. It will head south, not north. Right? You go through.
Wise man come from the east and your marriage goes south?
Basically, yes, it goes south.
All right, okay.
What happens? You go through emotional instability. In that you start to feel that, listen to me, I am not worthy. I have issues going on with me. We go through roller coaster emotion. Sometimes you're angry, sometimes you cry, sometimes you're vexed, sometimes, right? Then it have impact on all areas of life. Sometimes you lose your life skill. It have impact on your job. It have impact with your dealing with your friends. It have impact with how you deal with your own environment in the house. It will always be a tense environment in the house. And it will lead to other issues, sometimes lifestyle issues, and sometimes it leads to even death, because as we see the outcome, a lot of domestic violence is an outcome of infidelity.
So one could lose their sanity in the process?
Correct. You go through mental issues as well, because you go through all kind of personality disorder, anxiety, once that gets the better of you, once you allow it to get the better of you. Right? You go through depression as well.
So let me remind the callers, those who are outside of there, to call us at 387-7553 if you have any question, if you have any input you want to put. And if you want to just text us, give us a WhatsApp, you can call that same number. We're going to take a break in just a while. To the bottom of the hour, we were going to take a break at 8:30. But let me just remind those who have just joined us that we have on line Mrs. Lisa David. She's a family crisis management specialist, and she's helping us to wade through the issues of infidelity and unfaithfulness here, right? So she gave us a list of things that would prompt infidelity. She gave us also a list of things that the impact that it will have on people and their relationships. And so we were just talking about that it could cause somebody to think that they have lost their sanity, and some people really have lost their sanity. And then the question that I'm going to now pose to her, could it push somebody to the point of contemplation of suicide?
Yes. I will say yes, definitely, because if you have loved that person and this person is your entire world, and you have lost that trust, sometimes the shock can lead you to committing suicide or even committing homicide, killing the person. So it can go either way.
Yeah. You know, I'll tell you a true story that there's a person who had called me on one of my radio talk shows. There are people who would call and we would have discussions, and a lady had called
Yeah.
and said that she wanted me to give her some words of encouragement. We set up the appointment for us to meet, but she said, before you hang up, just give me something to hold on to. And I tried to cheer up and said, well, we're going to meet this Saturday. I think this was a Wednesday program that I was on, and the person was not on the same island that I am on. And so we would have met on the Saturday. And before the week was out, the radio station called back and said that the client who had called in on your program and said that they wanted to talk, just committed suicide. They said that the Saturday was too long to wait. I never forgot that, because as I sat in the office when I was meeting the list of persons, the slot that she had booked was still there. It was a midday slot. And I sat in that there for 1 hour and saying, had she held on, she would have been here right now in front of me. But it was very traumatic. And what had happened is that she went by one of her lady friends for the weekend, but missed her husband and felt that I'm going to cook and take back something for him to eat. And then she went back home and met him in bed with another woman, and it just devastated her. So there are people who understand what this means to be able to be in a situation where you never saw it coming, and then now have to be in that situation. I want you to reach out to those people and tell them what should they do if they find themselves in a situation that challenges them like that. What must one do?
Right. Dealing with infidelity, first you have to tell yourself that, listen to me, I am not responsible for the act that has been committed. I
That's
am
right.
not the one who is responsible or cause the perpetrator to do what they did. Do not put blame on yourself, right? You have to say to yourself, yes, this is a bad situation, but listen to me, I'm going to come out of it. And this is, Brother Mike, this is very important. Why they say that in a relationship have three, you, me, and God, right? So when you put your trust in God, when you leave, you have me and God, right? And this is very important. So if you're not sure about what to do, you always have God with you. But I can give you a few things that you can do to deal with infidelity. First, to begin, do not throw it out the window that this can be mended. You go through different phases. There are 3 different phases you normally go through when you go through infidelity or the crisis. And you have the crisis phase, then you have the understanding phase, and then you have the vision phase. But when you go
The
through
crisis, understanding, and vision.
Right. So when you go through the crisis phase, this is when you now identify that there is infidelity taking place. Right? So say to yourself that, listen to me, yes, I am going through a trauma, I am going through a crisis, but God is going to help me through. You cannot let one transgression in your life mash up your entire happiness. Right? Yes, it is a very traumatic, it's a very painful process, very, very painful. Because if you have ever been in love, listen to me, and you have ever been hurt, you understand that pain. Nothing means or nothing is important to you, right? So you have to understand and go through these 3 phases. And when you go through that crisis phase, understand that, listen to me, I am going through a phase that I need help. I need to get some help at this point in time because it's a crisis. I need to talk to somebody. I need to help somebody, right? And you can also depend on God. At that point in time, some of us, God don't even come into our minds. But the thing about it is that is where you hold on to God, right? Then you go through the meaning and understanding phase. This is when you try to bring understanding to what has happened, right? Yes, it's not about me. The thing about it, yes, I am hurt, but I have to look through this and see what really happened. Why did it happen? Now, it may not cause your relationship to go back into a relationship. It might be deciding factor whether you will stay or whether you will leave, but that is entirely up to you. But you have to bring meaning to what is happening. When you bring meaning to what is happening or what had happened, you will understand that it was not you that caused it. No matter what you did, right? Because people cheat anyhow, whether it's a happy relationship or a sad relationship or a frustrating relationship.
Just
You
before
find
you
all
pass
sorts
there,
of
hold on.
yeah.
Let's not pass it too fast.
Yes.
You are saying that you could be in a happy relationship and
Yes,
have infidelity in happiness.
that's correct.
Explain that.
Reason
For
being is
those of us
because
in the back row. Just explain it for us, those of us in the back row.
you may have had childhood baggage. It may not have nothing to do with your partners. It has to do with you, right? Because you want an identity. You want your own identity. This is your issue. You need to go and seek counseling to deal with yourself. That partner may be doing everything, washing, cooking, cleaning. It may be a man, he may be providing and all these things. But the thing about it is you who have issues still find yourself cheating, still find yourself involved in a relationship that you really do not want to be in, but you do it anyhow.
So how would that person get the help if they're suffering from that? And is there a way to recognize that you might have somebody who has a propensity, a weakness for that?
Well, you have to identify that. You see, you have to know your trigger. You have to know yourself. And as you mentioned earlier, you do a little reflection from time to time and you gauge yourself as to what you. But when you find that you're going through a lot of issues, for example, as I mentioned some of the reasons before, if you find that you start to justify watching pornography, or you start to justify sexting, or you start to justify looking at other women, because I mean, the Bible tells us once you think about it, you're doing it. And if you find yourself starting to think about it, you need to get help. You need to communicate with somebody and get some help, right? So you can identify for yourself if you are slacking up or if you're having issues.
All right. All right. So we're going to go to the break now. Let me tell you, one of the giveaways we'll give away is for one of the callers. I don't know which one of the callers. I'll ask the public to determine which caller to get it. Probably somebody who shares their story and tell me. I don't want people to share your personal, intimate business, right? But share a story that you may know of somebody, of a situation that may help us to understand certain situation. But whatever it is, we're going to ask the public to probably to determine which caller is going to be that. The telephone number is 387-7553. We go to a break. We'll be right back.
In today's society, we need security that is trustworthy, reliable, and efficient. Rapid Response Security Services Limited is here to meet all your needs. Since 1990, this security company leads while others follow, with a commitment to provide satisfaction in service. We specialize in modern and professional security systems. Contact us at 639-3675 or 660-7418 or visit us at the Blue and White Building, Mount Mary, Scarborough, Tobago.
Don't let the weather of the day dictate your pace. I stayed cool every time I got into my vehicle, and you can too. At Tow School Center of 31 Gaskin Bay Road, Bonaccord, they specialize in auto air conditioning with parts and services catering to your car's needs. Call and ask for tows at 660-8777 or 788-3535. Tow School Center, where a comfortable ride is a cool ride.
Den's Electronics, first floor, Port Mall Shopping Center, corner Sangsas and Milford Road, Scarborough, Tobago. Telephone number 639-3497 or 345-0470. When it comes to electronics, check Den's Electronics and just say, I heard it on Mike at Night. live, share it live, people. You may know somebody who this program can help. Ask them to tune in, send it to their WhatsApp. You just copy it and make sure that they are on. This may help somebody to go through something that they have been struggling with. Let me tell you, as my parents used to say, what not meet you, not pass you. Don't think you're immune. There's no vaccination against infidelity, my boy. They're telling you. So we got to prepare ourselves, and if we know how to be able to deal with some of these crises and trauma in our lives, we'll be able to navigate the situation even better. So make sure you share the live. Make sure you invite people to come on and to be with us. The poll is up, I think so, Mr. Director. I'm sure that the poll is up, and let me remind you to make sure that you take the poll. And because we're going to ask you to let me see if I can remember what the poll question is now. Yeah, but the poll is going to be up, and you're going to have a chance to be able to answer and get from that. The telephone numbers are, or the telephone number is 387-7553. You can call us, and the lines are now open, and you can also WhatsApp any question or statement that you want to share. And I think that I'm going to give away something for the first person who calls in. Yeah, the first person who calls in, we're going to give a giveaway. Yeah, we're going to decide what it is we're going to give away. Yes, Miss Lisa David is our guest on Family Crisis Management Specialist. So we were talking just before we went to the break. How are we taking it from here? How are we dealing with this?
All right. Well, let me just finish the last phase, where, as I say, I mentioned 3 phases. We have the crisis, we have understanding, meaning, and then we have the vision phase. What do you intend to do from here? Do you intend to stay and move? Do you intend to stay in that slumber? Do you intend to go through the grief for a long period of time? What do you intend to do? What is your vision for yourself? Do you intend to move on? What do you plan for yourself? So you have to go through that as well. And this is where you need counseling. This is where you need the help to be able to move on, right? So that is the other phase. But I must mention, Brother Mike, that there are 7 deadly sins.
7 deadly sins
of what not to do after an affair.
After an affair. Okay, before you go into that, before you go into those 7 deadly things, and 7 means complete, so you mean you're welded.
Yes.
All right. So this person is asking on Facebook, what if the reminder is always there? For example, and I suspect that a person, you're in a relationship with somebody, and a child comes out of this outside affair, and you have to face this child every time. I think the person is looking for some help as to how to deal with that constant reminder.
Okay, I always say a child is an outcome of any relationship, but a child must not be sacrificed for any relationship, because the child did not do anything. So that child you must prepare to be able to take care of that child, right? If you are a partner in a relationship, yes, you might pay the partner for having a child outside, but that child needs to be taken care of. This is a discussion that you need to have. And that is why you see you have to go through the understanding phase. For whatever it may be, the child needs to be taken care of. That child must not suffer.
What if the person who has been cheated on is the one who has to now take care of this child that is as a result of this cheating affair?
If you have the foundation of God inside of you, you will have a little resentment in the beginning, but with prayer and fasting and your communication with God, you will understand that this child needs to be taken care of. This child needs to be loved. This child is innocent. This child did not do anything wrong, right? So you have to go get counseling for yourself, to set aside yourself and to give the child this godly love that is needed.
That's not easy, you know.
It is not. It is not. That is why you need to pray and fast about it, and you need to get help. You need to get help, but it's not impossible.
All right. So let's go to the 7 deadly sins. Any question that you have, please put it on your Facebook chat. We're going to pull it off. We have people who will be monitoring it to bring the question to our attention. And you could WhatsApp us at 387-7553. Now, I know one of the challenges that people have whenever you go with a topic like this is that any question they ask or statement they make, they are afraid that people will ascribe it to them and what they are going through, and that becomes a little challenge. But we understand, right? So, 7 deadly sins.
What not to do after an affair. And this is something that is highly recommended by the Family Therapy Association. Do not tell your entire family and all your friends. Healing can become very, very difficult.
No, you're making this.
I make it choke, Michael. I make it choke with that one. Yes. But you see, once you start to tell your friends and your family, right? Yes. What happens is that you develop resentment. If you want to heal that relationship, develop resentment towards your partner. And they will always remind you, girl, you still with him, or boy, you still with her. You remember what she did to you, I remember. And that doesn't heal a relationship. Because
it is a natural thing when people are going through a situation like that to just want to offload on people. And
that's correct.
And you want to, and especially if you want to be able to explain that, oh, you think he or she so good, look what he or she doing.
Did to me, yeah. So right now you will vent, but when you go back, if you really want to save that relationship and heal that relationship, if you go and explain, if you go and tell everybody, it will not cause problems, serious problems.
All right.
Do not blast your partner on social media. Do not blast your partner on social media. And that has been happening lately. Yeah. People have been putting up pictures, all sorts of things that happen in a relationship, and it will cause problems. And actually, it develop more animosity and anger in the relationship than anything else, right?
Well, it looks as though people seem to be liking what you're saying, because I've seen a lot of hearts going up, because like they mean to say that you're on point. Because social media has become the platform for people. Yes. Sometimes you have no idea who they're talking about, and they're just talking about things about people and so on, and there are people weighing in on it who have no input as to at the other side of the story.
That's correct. But what about if you're not into a relationship with somebody and you went out to lunch and somebody take a picture and your name is blasted all over? You know what I mean? And these things can happen. You can damage people's character and all sorts of things. So there are a lot of things can happen, right? So that's number 2.
Yes.
Number 3, make life-altering changes. Do not do it. Do not say I'm leaving him. Do not say I'm leaving her. Try and go through phase 2. Understand what had happened. Are you willing to give up your relationship for one transgression?
And it's not the end of the world.
Not the end of the world. No, it isn't the end of the world. You might feel shame. You might go through self-esteem issues. You might go through all sorts of things, trust issues and all of that. But what about if the person is truly and regrettably sorry? Right? Do not place all blame on the other affair partner. Right?
Even though they are to be blamed?
No, not your partner. The other person who took part into the act. They want to attack the other person. For example, if your wife have an affair with a man, you will start to attack the man. Right? Do not do that, because what happened, it can become very bitter and very vicious, because you don't know what issue that person is dealing with, right? That can have detrimental causes, right? Do not obsess over the other affair partner. Do not stress and say, well, start to compare yourself with them. For example, that he may be somebody who working for more money than I do, or he may be somebody who have a nicer car than I do. Because once you start comparing yourself, you start belittling yourself.
Or she must
Right.
be better looking than I am.
Yes, or she probably has a higher color than I am. I mean, simple things, longer hair than I
she's
do.
better in bed than I am.
Exactly. The thing about it, you start to make a lot of assumptions and you start to belittle yourself. So what you started to put yourself in a depressed state, and you don't want that happening, right? And that goes with also blaming yourself, right? Even though you're obsessed with the other partner, you might be looking at the other partner. Now, this goes to the intrapersonal conflict that you may be having. You will look at yourself and say, well, look, I'm not looking so good, you know. My hair not so nice. Probably you're not dressing well, and you're starting to internalize this. And then this is where depression comes in, and it ends to suicide, right? Because you start internalizing it and putting blame on yourself, right? Do not think you can recover on your own. You need help. Do not sit and feel that this is my situation alone, and I don't want to tell nobody. Yes, you find somebody. You don't have to tell everybody, but you can find somebody who you think will be able to help you through this process. So those are the 7 deadly sins.
And let me just put a plug in there, because for those of us who counsel like yourself, people wait until it becomes chronic and expect the counselor to work miracles. So it's always good to be able to get the help early. Yeah. So we have the 7 deadly sins. Could I add on 2 more?
Yeah, you can make it 21.
Number 8. Don't think going and cheat back on the person who cheated on you is going to resolve the issue.
No.
Some people do that for the next person to see how it feel like.
Yes.
Don't lower yourself to that. Yeah. And the number 9, don't be reading over the text that you found, looking over the video that you had, and also regurgitating, ruminating. Whole day you sit down.
Yourself.
Yes, it puts you in a bad mood. That's right. It puts you in a bad mood, and then you start living it all over again. You got to find a way to move forward. Yes. All right. 387-7553. If you have a number, let me see what question that there is. This person said, Lamimi said, I know of a woman who had an affair with an older married man, which is her boss. Thanks for not naming the boss name. She became pregnant and had a daughter. A couple years later, she got an opportunity to go abroad, and the man's wife had no children, consented to keep the child. She loved the child like her own. Yeah. So, so they gained as a child from it, even though the situation itself was wrong. So there's no justification for it to take place. But in this case, you had a situation that seemed to have worked out for them.
That's right.
What if they bring STD and such like, and that's how you found out you were being cheated on? All right. So that is for you there from the Facebook, Miss Lisa.
Right. You take care of yourself. You go and you get the medical attention that is needed. And as I say, you go through the phases and you take care of yourself. It is very important that you take care of yourself, right? Yes, you might be hurt with them, you might be upset with them, but at the point in time, your first priority is to take care of yourself. When you go through crisis counseling, right, you prioritize what is important. If you do not take care of yourself, you will die and the situation will still be there. So you need to take care of yourself firstly.
All right, people, share the live. Lots of information going here. And this other one says they have known of cases where, because an individual was unfaithful, they gave their partner a free pass to go and sleep with a person of their choice to balance things off. This sounds like a board game. You eat me, I eat you back. Yeah,
Well, Brother
that,
Mike, there are all sorts of craziness that is happening out there, right? Marriage is until death do us part, but no, I mean, as my husband and I was discussing, some people say marriage is until love do us, until love lasts,
on the
right?
love
And
lines.
until love lasts, and sometimes people change things to suit their own agenda. There are a lot of craziness that is happening out there, and people do a lot of madness. But as we say, we are guided by the guidelines of the Bible. So we know that how we need to operate and what we need to do. So that is why it's important to study your Bible.
That's right. Let me also piggyback on the person on Facebook who spoke about the couple that had no children. The man went outside, he ended up having a child. The mother of that child left the child in the company or in the care of
Yeah.
the father, and the woman, his wife, loved the child. We told the audience that we asked them a question: is there a benefit that comes out of infidelity? And I want to be able to make sure that we put this in its context so that people don't think that there is something that we are promoting for people to do, which is infidelity. Mrs. Lisa David has already said, if you joined us late, that infidelity is wrong. She was unequivocal with that. It is wrong. Inside of the things that go wrong in life, God said that he can make all things work together for the good. Because you could find, as in the Old Testament, a child is born out of the norm of God's will, but ends up to be chosen by God to be able to lead his people. You see? So even though the act was wrong, the outcome could turn out to be good. Are there any situation of a good outcome that came out of a bad situation such as infidelity?
Well, I mean, as you say, we can use any bad situation to strengthen anything, right? So you can use the bad situation to strengthen your marriage, right? Some people would have said, attested and said that, once you have survived it, the marriage becomes stronger and become better, right? During the counseling process, when I work with people who have been through infidelity, I'll ask them, are you willing to try again? Right? If they say yes, the both partners have to agree. What are you willing to do? Are you willing to look for a second marriage here? So here, what we're going to look at a vision. And this is where the phase of a vision comes in, right? You start a vision. If you agree, if you are truly sorry and you have taken you have been accountable for what you did, and the partner has forgiven you, then we can move on from there. And it can strengthen that relationship, because what happens is that you start to look at the person and you start to not take them for granted, right? You start to look at different issues, right? And you are more aware in your relationship of understanding when infidelity can occur.
Right.
You develop a heightened awareness of what can happen if you go to a particular place, if you put on a particular movie, understanding what had caused your problems before. Even if you have not come back to have a relationship, right, or to continue that marriage, the person themselves look at themselves and say, what have I done? If they have missed what they have done, they tend to always want it back, and they try to do things to improve themselves, as well as the victim themselves. They try to do things to improve themselves.
So let me get you in that context. You are saying that the unfortunate situation of infidelity could take place, but that could cause the couple to recognize that we may have grown apart, we may have been taking each other for granted, and we now give them that impetus to be able to work on the relationship now that they saw how easy they could have lost something that they had.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
So okay, I understand that, because I too know of couples who they would have been going along life and busy in their work and so on, and did not recognize how much they were failing as a couple. and
correct.
this helped to be able to restore them. Could this improve sexual encounters in a relationship at all?
Yes,
Because
it can.
mhm,
Yes, it can. Yeah.
yes,
Yes, it can. So once
big,
they agree, they tend to be able to understand that, listen to me, I would have missed out on having you around, or just thinking about the loss, just thinking about losing the other person. You want to get that connectivity back together. That sexual interaction can be heightened. That lovemaking can be even more powerful.
yes,
The way how I treat you, the level of communication we have in the house, the way how we communicate, we start to communicate differently, the level of compromise we make. So you find out it will strengthen their relationship because everything created an awareness that they have to be able to work together to be able to help each other.
right. You know, there are two incidents that come to mind while you were speaking there, where one
Yes,
lady told me that after having had a situation where the husband was unfaithful, she agreed that she became very preoccupied with her job and the family and so on, that she really wasn't very active in their sexual life,
yes,
and she was a bit lazy in that area. But she said, having found it out, she said she wanted to show him how much he's missing if he leaves, and she
yes,
went and put in an extra in her performance in the marital bed. And she said she herself enjoyed it so much that she didn't recognize how much she could have enjoyed the sex. And this is post infidelity.
yes,
And they both now agreed to be able to now restore the marriage and work along it. And she said that things are going good. I hear it also from a man where the man said that having strayed, that he, well, no, having her
yes,
stray, it means therefore that he recognized that he has not been the kind of man to her that he should have been. And so he was becoming more intimate without necessarily sexual, but she understood now she wanted intimacy, closeness,
yes,
quality time, for
that's
him to be
correct.
part of the family more. And he said, Mr. Stewart, me am messing with that because I see how close I come to losing a
That's it.
good woman, because she's a good
That's
woman.
correct. Yes,
And he says she's a good woman, even though she has been unfaithful.
yes.
Yeah?
And that goes through the second phase of bringing understanding and meaning to what had happened,
Yes.
right? If you are mature enough in the relationship, that's why they said, do not give up, do not make the decision yet, give it some time to go through it. It's a hard process. But what are you willing to lose? Remember, this
Yes.
is a one transgression. Yes, it might be something that is devastating, but are you going to lose your happiness? Are you going to lose your relationship? Or are you going to lose your own identity? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, as I say, they both have to agree that they want to go through. And I think one of the things that is very detrimental in a relationship, especially after understanding infidelity, is that accountability of the perpetrator is very important. Acknowledge your sin. Acknowledge
Mm-hmm.
what you did was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Acknowledge that I hurt you. Do
You
not say
don't
that
continue to lie and pretend.
no, and
Come
that's what was
clean.
the problem. And do not put the blame on the other person and says because you didn't do this or you didn't do that, I became involved in so and so and so as the case may be. So
Mm-hmm.
once you have accepted that responsibility for your action, then the victim will more likely to give in and to forgive easier.
Yes.
Now I
Yeah.
say easier, it is still a hard task, eh?
Right.
Yeah,
We are approaching the end of the program. Yeah.
lovely.
Yeah. I think that you just answered a response from Veronica on Facebook. Veronica said, easier said than done. So
Yeah,
Miss Lisa David has acknowledged this is not something she's
difficult.
letting it sound as though it's an easy thing.
No,
She said that you could get it easier.
yeah.
All right. The Suzette said, we love our younger sister who was born out of an extramarital affair. We don't hide her existence. She calls her mother mom and is an integral part of our lives and is known and loved by friends, family, and brothers. Her mom loves her and we get along great with her mom. Wow.
Mm.
So you see, you're right. There are some things that we could salvage out of out of the situation.
Mm.
Yeah. All right. So time flies when you're having fun.
Yes.
Yes. Miss Lisa David, family crisis management specialist. Are you in practice that people could call you if they think that they want to? You know, some people need to talk to a woman. Yes. Yes. See?
Yes. Yes.
Your women seem to have an empathy. They put themselves in this situation when they talk. So if you are so disposed, you want to give them your telephone number,
Well, I am now in the process of setting up my practice.
Okay.
So I am now going through the process of looking at the legality and everything. So I do more volunteer work. I do more free work for now.
Okay.
So as time goes by, you'll see how that goes.
All right, nicely. Thank you.
You're
All
welcome.
right, thank you very much, Miss Lisa.
You're welcome.
All right, good. And she's going to be a resource person for some of our programs, so we'll hear her again. Let me say that we have a giveaway to give away. If there's oh yes, wow. Do you believe that though it is wrong, infidelity could cause some couples to take stock of who they are? 89% of persons, Miss Lisa said, yes, they believe that you could get some advantage and take stock out of it. And 11% said, no, sir, never. Yeah.
And that depends basically on the strength of the relationship that you may have and the intensity of the relationship that you have had.
Yes. Joanne saying that in such relationship, the poor children suffer the most. Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah. Thank you. Very informative. All right. So we want to give away somebody who got married around Valentine's. Yeah. How about you giving us a call or sending us a message? I prefer if you call us. Right. We want to give you a lunch for two at Gemma's Seafood Restaurant. Excellent place. This is a restaurant in a tree right here in Tobago. So give us a call if you're married around that time. If you're not married, well, then we'll have to probably go to another question. Or let's take it. The first caller to call in, we'll give you that lunch. First person to call in, we'll give you the lunch because we don't have the time to be able to ravel through. Let me thank the sponsors: Dens Electronics, Rapid Response Security Services, Toll School Center, and Double B Enterprises. Thank you all very much. And thank you for those who have given away. Yeah, I wanted to give away two actually. 387-7553. Nobody wants to be able to go for lunch? Yeah. Somebody, do you think it is good for you to know the person your partner cheated on with? Why or why not? What? Okay, let's take this call. All right. Hello. Okay. I think I will make it to do something here. Yes, sir. Yes, I'm hearing you. Yes, you got the right number. Now everybody's calling in. Imagine that, huh? Hold on. I think that I may have slipped up with one of these lines somewhere here. Oh yeah, I think I got it. Yes, are you there? Mr. Master Control, tell me if you're hearing the caller. Yes.
Oh, good evening.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm making sure I'm calling correctly. Is it the first person who calls, the first person who calls in who got married close to Valentine? Or the first person who calls in full stop?
Well, I modified it to the first person to call in because...
So am I that person?
It sounds so.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll take your name and number off the air.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I want to give away a quick second one. this person who texted me this question I don't have a name. I might have wanted to give that person something, but we have one of our craftsman corner. They do various tools and so on. I want to give a man something also. So a woman could call for it to get her man a voucher for $200 that he could go and get a tool. I could ask the director to put up the gentleman who went to West Side and got himself a gift, and he was quite happy with it. And here's what he did. He said he purchased other things also. He was very happy to see some of the things that they had. Craftsman Corner at number 24 Sincere Street. Their telephone number is 333-8548. They do retail, rent, and repair name brands of various tools. Let me just call out some of those tools that they have there. Quite a bit. Here we go. Yes. So where is it? Okay. Yes. They have Makita, Milwaukee, Stanley, and many more different name brand of tools and plumbing. They are next to West Side Electrical, just in Sincere Street. All right, so probably I could give this to the second caller. You could either call it for your husband so that you give him something for Valentine's, or a man could call in and get that voucher for $200. Okay? So 387-7553. Just call and you're going to win that. 387-7553. Yeah, yeah. Okay, let me say one time while we're waiting on that next call, that next week we have Mr. Rundle Fields in. We are on Thursdays. Mr. Rundle Fields is going to be in, and Mr. Rundle Fields is going to chat with us about stories of men, right? And particularly fathers, the stories that fathers have of trying to get custody and not being able to be given custody, etc. Hello, good day.
Yes, is this the second caller? I'm just calling to confirm. Am I the second caller that won the?
Yes, yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Oh, all right.
So you are going to have a $200 voucher from Craftsman Corner. You know where they are?
Yes.
Tell me where.
At Sincere Street, just next to West Side Electrical.
That's right. That's right. And you, when you go there, you tell them you heard it on
Mike at Night.
That's right. You got that right. All right. We'll take your information off here. All right. Nicely. Thank you. All right. So Mr. Randolph is going to talk about the stories of fathers, and every month we are going to dedicate it to fathers. Mr. Director, could you put up the ad for the speaker that we have, the guest that we have coming in for the march? We have a woman who was born without arms. She's going to be on the program. She does wonders. Mr. Director, you have that ready? It's a video. Okay. Not many persons know what it is like to be born with no arms.
And I was blessed to be born without arms and impaired use of my leg.
Renowned author, motivational speaker par excellence, soon to be movie star, and my friend, Hope Coach Tawana Williams, born with no arms. Tune in to Mike at Night, March 3rd at 9 p.m. on Label TV Network, on Facebook and YouTube.
She actually draws portraits with her toes. I can believe it, I can achieve it, and I'm going to do it. And I was born to win.
I've experienced abortion, motherhood, and as I said, a stroke. But guess what? I'm still here.
Hope Coach Tawana Williams, unarmed and dangerous. Whoa, that brings us down to the end of our program. Wonderful hour. And Mike at Night is on every Thursday, 9 o'clock. Make sure that you invite people to come out. Make sure that you're on all the time. If you have questions, you don't need to wait for Thursday. Just send them in and we'll try to deal with it in the next time that we are on. I want to thank our behind the scenes people, Mr. Sidney Jones, and the man himself who is at the helm of the ship, Mr. Leon Lewis. Yes, sir. These guys are awesome men who have been pulling this together. And our guest this evening, Mrs. Lisa David. My name is Michael Stewart, and trust me, I want to see you and hear you next week, Thursday. Make sure you tell people that Mike at Night is back on air and he's badder than bad. Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. So this brings us to the end of the program. Love you all. See you all again. Bye for now. God bless you.
In today's society, we need security that is trustworthy, reliable, and efficient. Rapid Response Security Services Limited is here to meet all your needs. Since 1990, this security company leads while others follow, with a commitment to provide satisfaction in service. We specialize in modern and professional security systems. Contact us at 639-3675 or 660-7418, or visit us at the Blue and White Building, Mount Mary, Scarborough, Tobago.
Don't let the weather of the day dictate your pace. I stayed cool every time I got into my vehicle, and you can too. At Tow School Center of 31 Gaskin Bay Road, Bonaccord, they specialize in auto air conditioning with parts and services catering to your car's needs. Call and ask for tows at 660-8777 or 788-3535. Tow School Center, where a comfortable ride is a cool ride.
Den's Electronics, first floor, Port Mall Shopping Center, corner Sangsers and Milford Road, Scarborough, Tobago. Telephone number 639-3497 or 345-0470. When it comes to electronics, check Den's Electronics and just say, I heard it on Mike at Night.